Hey everybody, welcome back to the Loony Bin. And oh boy, if there's one thing we anime fans have come to know and have preached time and time again, is that Netflix should not touch property that isn't their own. Holy okay. I'm just gonna calm down for a bit and let me basically, let you know what is happening, what I am not necessarily happy about, but accept, because at the end of the day, it happened, and my feelings about the One Piece live action hasn't changed. I still want a second season, right? That hasn't changed. However, there has been recent news in regards to basically Oda's involvement in the story of the One Piece live action, and basically how his involvement was throughout the entire process. While we don't know the full extent of it, we did get new pieces of information basically telling us the confrontation between himself, the showrunners, and Netflix. So for those who don't know, there's a link down below if you want to check out the video. Stephen Maeda, he is one of the showrunners of the One Piece live action series. The other one is Matt Owens, the writer, and he discussed certain aspects, certain elements of the One Piece live action that they basically had to persuade Oda for, right? He talked about like the communication between them and Oda, and how, what it was like, right? One of the big pieces of information you should know beforehand is that Maeda mentions that Oda was very gun shy. He was very shy in communicating with Netflix, right? And apparently Oda's a very shy person when it comes to working with others. I'm assuming a lot of people are, especially when you're discussing matters about certain properties with people from other countries that you may not know the language, right? I'm sure a lot of people are, right? So I don't blame Oda for being shy. Like, I'm shy. I'm shy whenever I talk to people, mostly because I just don't know them yet. Once I know you, I'm perfectly fine. It's pretty simple to be shy. Doesn't help that I'm also an introvert, right? But, alright, so Oda was a little gun shy. What happened in this video is Maeda is now discussing about, what they wanted to add to the Netflix live action. One of the things was the whole GARP storyline. What they wanted basically was to include a threat that was continuous over the 8 episodes, and to give the Straw Hats more of a threat instead of focusing on the adventure, and going from island to island, meeting a new bad guy, so on and so forth. I understand that idea about having a threat going all over a series. I understand that. It's to build up tensions, to build up worry for the audience who are watching it. And of course, the audience who were mostly watching this were One Piece fans. However, the intended audience was more of the casual Netflix viewer who probably doesn't like anime or anything like that, but to give One Piece a shot. I've seen many people proclaim that they want to check it out now after watching the live action series. I mean, that's fantastic. That's the whole goal, and I applaud Netflix for allowing people to actually now and go and watch the anime or read the manga and enjoy the story that we all love, right? But there's an issue here, because that whole GARP storyline, which Maeda admits, was something that Oda himself did not appreciate, that did not like. He didn't want that storyline to be there. He doesn't explain into detail why Oda didn't want it. If I had to guess, and this isn't fact but just an opinion of mine, if I had to guess, I think Oda wanted to basically focus on the Straw Hats and the adventure and their bonds before becoming the Straw Hat crew at the end of the series, right? That's what he wanted, I think. And Maeda went on to discuss that he wanted to add that to bring tension, right? When I first saw it, I will admit that, okay, this is interesting. I'll let them cook. And then what it did was it caused a ripple effect. Basically, by adding the GARP storyline, the writing of the story, especially between the Straw Hats, it didn't fall apart, because they still connected everything really well. What it did was it removed certain aspects of the character's story or the character narrative about who the characters really are, and watered them down to a point where it's just like, but people will be like, well, wait, why didn't they show this with Usopp? Why didn't they show more about Sanji's relationship with Gin or something like that, right? And that's what it did. And that, to One Piece fans who noticed this, understand why they didn't particularly like this and why a lot of people, criticized that portion. They criticized the GARP and Koby storyline, right? And it did do that. Biggest example I could give you is that Usopp, I think the Syrup village arc for Usopp's story arc, or character arc, I mean, I thought it was really well done. I thought it was, kind of good, kind of better in certain aspects to the anime and to the manga. Especially Kuro. I thought Kuro was more of a horror villain, right? And, like a slasher movie type of villain. I think I enjoy that because I like slasher movies, right? So I really enjoyed that part. And Kuro, the actor portraying Kuro, did a fantastic job. But what happened throughout the entire story arc, and this is, of course, spoilers, so if you don't want to hear this, I would recommend not watching past this point. But one of the big things about Usopp is that, yes, he's a scaredy cat. He lies to try to run away or try to, not fight anybody. He's a scaredy cat. And they did portray him as a scaredy cat throughout, the scenes that he was in, right? The issue then becomes that you then don't see that side of him where even though he's scared, he still can be brave when it matters, when he's trying to protect somebody. You don't get that with the Usopp in the live action, right? You just don't get that. And you only see him try attacking Kuro at least once, right? My memory is a little all over the page because I'm learning Japanese, right? And he only hits him once, right? And that's it. And then most of the time he's trying to hide with Nami and Kaya. He tries helping Nami and Kaya, but eventually, he doesn't do anything after that. And I think one of the big reasons why it kind of weakens or misses that character is because you also don't have Django in the live action Netflix series. So Django was a huge part in Usopp's character arc to showcase that he would do anything to protect the people he cared about, right? But he did showcase that in the manga for Kuro as well, that no matter how much he gets beat up, and he gets beat up a lot in the manga, oh boy, he still gets up to try to, protect and save the people he cares about. And that's showcasing his bravery. But we don't see that in the live action, and that's where, his character narrative kind of hurts him in the live action. Because now people just think, or possibly think, that he's just a scaredy cat, right? Although I will say I didn't get that feeling all the way. He felt clumsy, he felt, silly, with the whole dancing thing on the Baratiate, right? So I didn't really get that feeling of, he was that much of a scaredy cat throughout the entire thing. But we don't necessarily see his brave side. We only see his brave side kind of in, the last episode, right? When it's against the Arlong Park, the Arlong Fishermen, right? But you're missing that course of action with Usopp during the Kuro arc that showcases the much more heartfelt side of Usopp that makes up a big portion of his character. His dream is literally become the brave warrior of the sea. If we don't see that brave warrior aspect, we don't understand his dream that much more, because yes, he's a scaredy cat, but he can still be brave, and that's why he wants to try to bring that side out more than the scaredy cat aspect, right? He wants to bring that out more so that he could become a brave warrior of the sea. So you missed that opportunity, and one of the main reasons probably why is because the writing had to be watered down. The writing had to be slimmed down simply because you had the GARP Koby make up a lot of time that could have been dedicated to Usopp and kind of making his character narrative a little bit better, right? And showing that brave side of him that you don't see in the live action. Same thing with Sanji. This whole thing, the relationship between Sanji and Gin is a very important aspect with Sanji's character narrative, Sanji's character arc. And we don't necessarily see that. We see Gin, right? But we don't necessarily see much more than that, right? but that, you know, it's a very important piece. One of the other major pieces is that Sanji was there to watch Zoro versus Mihawk, because Sanji, he still believed in the all blue, but he was hesitant to leave because he didn't he needed convincing, and he believed when he was watching Zoro vs. Mihawk that, you know, it wasn't worth dying for your dream, right? He even does the same thing with Luffy, right? But Zepp is trying to tell him that, yeah, that might be true, but then you will have idiots like these guys who will do anything for their dream. And he's trying to convey to Sanji that you don't have to be afraid. You could be that idiot that fights for his dream no matter what. You being here is you being afraid of that. You know, that's the part of Sanji that we don't necessarily see, right? We see Sanji talking to Luffy about the all blue and all that stuff, right? But there's not, it's watered down. I'm not saying they did a terrible job. I'm saying they watered it down, and that's why a lot of, you know, One Piece fans are not too happy about that. You know, that's why they criticize that writing portion, right? So, I mean, you could like the live action. I'm not going to tell you not to, but this is what I feel, and I think many other people also think that way, who are One Piece fans. Now, you know, I can't guarantee you that. That's how other people think, but that, you see, that's why I didn't like that idea. We knew from the very beginning that Oda always fought with Netflix about certain decisions. And the fact that he had to do it not once, but apparently a second time, I just... it just baffles me that Netflix just seemed to try to do their own thing because they feel it fits the narrative. It definitely kept the spirit of One Piece, there's no question about that. But the watered down sections of the character writings for mainly the you know, Usopp, Sanji, and Nami, specifically Nami's character narrative and Arlong Park in general, it just hurts them, and it confuses viewers about, you know, certain characters, and then you have people, you know, see certain characters in a different way that maybe other people don't believe or see compared to their manga counterparts, you know. But yeah, it's just, Netflix really does not, God, it's like, why do people want to work with Netflix when they keep doing this, you know? Like, Hollywood too, it's not even just Netflix, it's Hollywood in general. It's just, it's frustrating as a fan of a property, right? They've done some good jobs with certain properties like Castlevania and stuff like that. But with Castlevania, you have more leniency because it's based off a video game, and you could just pick and choose stuff from the lore as long as you have, you know, the idea of a Belmont versus a vampire, right? Or Belmont versus Dracula, I should say, right? Sorry about that. You know, it's just tough to hear that Oda had to fight. And I don't want to say they kind of, you know, abuse is not the word. They took advantage of a little bit about you know, Oda being shy about the whole situation. You know, it just sucks to hear that maybe they persuaded him by pressuring him to really like their idea, even though he was against it. It just makes me feel bad for Oda in a way. But at the end of the day, Oda was happy with the end product. So, but Netflix, man, I don't know why they keep doing this. God damn it. Well, anyway, that's what I want to talk about. And just Netflix, they did a good job with the live action. I just wished they focused more, not on the whole tension about the whole thing, you know, and just focus more on, you know, the characters themselves, because that's literally what the East Blue arc was mostly about. Yes, you had villains. Yes, you had some tension, right? But, you know, yeah, damn it. It's like, oh, and if you were wondering what the other thing was, the other thing that they persuaded Oda about was including Arlong early during the Barate arc, and I was not opposed to that idea, but I just didn't think they wrote it well, to the point where, like, you know, Luffy lost to Arlong, and then you had Luffy later on saying, maybe I can't beat you, which is completely contradicting what the manga said, what the manga Luffy said, where he says, I can beat you. Like, what is that? I don't get that. Why? Why are you writing that Luffy thinks that he can't beat Arlong? Why? Luffy is like the most confident person in the East Blue. He could beat anybody. He believes he could beat anybody. That's the whole point of later on in the story, you know, where he thinks he could take on the world, but then he realizes, oh fuck, there are much more stronger, you know, people out there. That's the whole point of the Kuma arc. That's the whole point of Marineford. He felt that he was too cocky, he was too confident, and then when fucking Akainu's fucking fist went into through Ace, he realized, oh shit, I'm actually fucking weak. I'm not as strong as I thought I was. That's the whole point of Luffy's confidence being shattered. That's the whole point of the time skip. Because throughout most of the story, Luffy was confident as fuck. He kind of had his confidence kind of lowered in Water 7 and in his life, but then he got it back up, right? But then all of a sudden, like, he just thinks that he could save Ace, and then when reality hits him that he can't, or save his crew from Kuma, guess what? His confidence shatters. So when you have it that early on, it hurts Luffy. It's just too early, I should say, to basically try to harm Luffy's confidence. I get it's a Hollywood thing, you know, that it definitely seems like it's a Hollywood thing at the end of the day to try to do that early, and especially, you know, with something like One Piece when you don't even know if you're gonna get more and more seasons. But like, fuck, man, I just didn't like that interview at all, because it's just it just felt like they were trying very hard to put in their own ideas when Oda didn't like it anyway, and they had to persuade him and stuff like that. Oh, god damn it. Oh well, I wanted to talk about that video because I've been one of the people who have criticized the writing for, you know, GARP and Koby's story arc, and just the character narrative being kind of ruined for some of the Straw Hats, right? And yeah, you know, this just shows you that you can't trust Netflix with anything, even when the creator is in charge. Because even then, if Oda was maybe not gun shy, he'll probably be more strict about certain things. But like, damn it. Oh well. But again, this is all my opinion. You don't have to, you know, take my opinion seriously. And also, I'm not disrespecting Oda. So many people have constantly came to me, said, oh, you're disrespecting Oda's writing. This is what Oda's want. If you don't like it, go read something else. I'm not disrespecting Oda. I'm not disrespecting his decisions, his writing. I'm trying to defend his writing. That's what I'm doing. I don't understand why that's such a complicated problem, or like a complicated issue. When you criticize something, it's because you value the original work. You value the original work. And you want that original work to be in any adaptation that comes out. I just want to throw that in because people have been saying that a lot. But yeah, but thank you so much for watching. Thank you, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Please subscribe to the channel if you want to watch me more rant and say stuff about One Piece. And I'll see you guys soon.